Al ooit gewonder wat maak jou kind dwars deur die nag agter die toedeur alleen, as jy net die rekenaar nou en dan hoor brom? Wel, hy kan dalk in goed rondkrap waarvan jy liewer nie wil weet nie.
We're not referring to internet porn or the current rate of cybersex, adulterous or not. Computer link-ups are making all kinds of information available, and not everyone has caught on to the need to protect confidential information. Let's go on a journey which starts in a small town in the Drakensberg and leads via the United States into the heart of universities and companies in South Africa.
Many South African teenagers may struggle to find employment when they leave school. It seems unlikely that Harry Smith's schoolboy Kriek Jooste will suffer the same fate.
The fact that they say there's no jobs out there, I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I was offered so many jobs. I don't have the problem of getting out of matric and looking for a job. I need to decide which person I'm going to work for.
It is hard to believe that only a year ago, 18-year-old Kriek was a school dropout. For several months, he suffered from such severe depression that his parents were concerned that he would try to commit suicide. After extensive testing, it was discovered that Kriek had Tourette syndrome, coupled with an attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. That diagnosis finally led to proper medication, and Kriek is now back at school, but he still considers it a part-time activity.
At the moment, school is more of my hobby than anything else. I just go to school just to finish it off, just to get over with it so I can move on to other things.
Computers. These are the other things that have occupied almost every waking moment of Kriek's life for the past 2 years. It's a passion that grew out of his love for science fiction stories. And he was only 7 when he started writing his own programs.
Like I watched a story on TV on logo programming for the computer. And I followed that and I did the programs on paper because I didn't have my own computer.
So at 15, unable to buy his own computer, he began to assemble one from parts that he scrounged. Some of the bits and pieces are from the blackened remains of computers that survived a bomb blast in the ANC offices in Harry Smith.
It supports proxy. So
Shortly thereafter, he discovered the online world.
A friend of mine got a modem for a very good price, and he never got around to use it. That was when I had my machine for about 3 or 4 months. Then I bought the modem over from him, and then I discovered the online worlds and the networks and Beltel and the internet and the BBSs. And it was very fascinating for me. It was very addictive.
Is it like an addiction?
I never got enough sleep. I went to bed like at 3 in the mornings. I actually dropped out of school for a while. And then I just sat on the machine forever, like 16 hours a day. I went to bed at 8 in the mornings, got up at 3 in the afternoons, and spent my whole nights on the computer. Then later I just decided I had to go into a direction, and I started learning about computer security.
And it was at this point that Kriek's codename Koki began to cause a stir in South African internet circles. Using his computer and something called the Internet Relay Chat, Kriek was able to study and then apply all the latest information on computer hacking.
In the beginning, I went for South African universities because they had larger networks, and some of them have very weak security. And I built my knowledge on penetrating them.
And for months, he hacked his way in and out of South Africa's tertiary institutions.
But after that, later I went into another university, I can't remember which, and got in the same way. And then started going to other types of machines, other operating systems, and learning more. Then it became really addictive.
But what does it mean to get into a machine? What can you actually do?
You can usually destroy the machine, alter information, steal information, give the administrators a hard time trying to fix the machine. And usually you just, once you're in a machine, you have access to most of the information. And when I get root access on there, I have access to them all. I can alter them all, I can change them all, I can wipe them all.
But we wanted proof that it was as easy as Kriek made it out to be. Were these holes he had used several months ago still open? Can we try another institution?
We could try UNISA, for instance. And they run a very, very unsecure daemon on the machines. So I'm going to be first of all, I'm going to borrow a machine at Vista University.
Kriek explained that you don't have to have a computer in front of you to use it. He only uses his own as a terminal, preferring to borrow the superior brain power of other machines around the country, which is exactly what he's doing now to enable him to get into UNISA.
Oh, there's the home directory. Okay. Take you the home directory.
So now we can,
See if you have
a la the
the
Mahoba
result thing.
scandal, steal some of their personal information.
Someone's CV. There's, I don't know what that file is, and I won't find out.
So as you say, this is as far as you go.
Yeah, this is so
You won't
far.
open one of those
No,
files.
I never lost anything in those files. Why should I open it?
When UNISA first heard about Kriek's break-in, they were extremely concerned, so much so that for a while we thought we would be legally prevented from telling you the story. But then they decided to open up to the media, in the same way as they are actually opening up their computer systems.
UNISA actually took a policy decision not to go to court on this matter. I think the question of privacy would have made an excellent test case, and of course as a legal academic I love test cases. But the policy decision was taken that this can actually close many doors, and we wanted to open doors.
Professor Dana van der Merwe at UNISA is one of South Africa's computer law experts. Why was UNISA's reaction to Kriek breaking into the system as fierce as it was?
I think people were very worried at the beginning because they did not realize what the extent of the break-in was. And I think once we discovered that this was a sort of Robin Hood pointing out that he was actually only trying to do good, our whole stance also changed on that.
And to encourage people like Kriek to UNISA, the university will soon open a site on the internet, offering students access to information, including their marks, and enabling them to submit assignments on computer.
In fact, a student sitting in Harry Smith gaining access to the UNISA computers is exactly what we would like, but we would like him to come in by the front door and not by the back door.
But isn't it a bit like breaking into someone's house and looking into all their personal belongings?
Except that in most cases, when I get sued, when I'm in the machine, I immediately mail the system administrator and tell them I'm inside. Like say you walk to your front door and you feel it and it's open. First thing you say, you call, hello, I'm in, type of idea. Your door's not locked, are you here, type of idea. And that's the basic thing I did. And then told them, lock your door.
Big business doesn't find Kriek's expeditions into cyberspace as amusing as outsiders might, especially not when it is their companies that are being hit. Senior systems engineer at Olivetti is Mark Elkins. His job is to ensure that information on their machines is secure from hackers like Kriek.
It's a cross between how secure do you want the machine to be and how easy do you want other people to be, legitimate people, to come into the machine. We have information which is available to the general public or public domain software, etc., which we want to be able to share with other people. And it's by sharing that type of information that programs in general can be made better.
How far into the system did he actually get? Because it sounds as if it was kind of available and he could basically do anything. Could he do serious damage? Could he?
The way he was coming in, he could have done potentially very serious damage. Well, he could have removed the contents of the machine.
According to Kriek, he first hacked into Olivetti's system around May last year, apparently misled by the fact that he routed his explorations through the United States. Olivetti were initially unaware that he was a small-town schoolboy, more concerned about getting into a system than wrecking it. Why did you target Olivetti?
They were there. That's basically the only reason why I went in. They were there and they had some very weak security holes.
Using a bug that is no longer on Olivetti's network, Kriek was able to exploit a weak link in their system. Mark had connected his home computer to the system at work. Before he could secure it, Kriek used it to gain entry to Olivetti. Once he had installed himself on the machines, he could come and go as and when he pleased.
Once he has the key, then he can walk through the front door. Once he's into that computer system, because that computer system was implicitly trusted by other machines, he was able to walk from that machine to the next machine to the next machine. Again, always looking around for appropriate files with appropriate information. But he basically had free access at that point.
Using this stepping stone approach, Kriek finally got too close for comfort. Olivetti were confident that although he had gained access to their own system, their clients who were connected to them could not be penetrated. But Kriek proved them wrong on this score. He did penetrate one of their clients' databases. In the meantime, the email exchange between him and Mark Elkins, who still had no idea with whom he was dealing, was hotting up.
He said his security on his own machines isn't that good, but he offers very good security to his clients. I then went into his machine and actually got super user access on one of his clients, which was supposed to be protected, but through his machines was widely open.
Since then, those holes have been secured. But Koki had made his point.
And then I mailed Mark Elkins and told him, here I am again. And then I didn't really get a reply. Only friends contacting me and telling me that their administrator's been contacted and actually suspected them of being in contact with me. And everyone was blaming everyone.
One of Kriek's friends was Anthony Brooks, an internet boffin who had been part of the team that had tried to trace Kriek the hacker. Subsequently, they had become friends through the internet. It was Anthony who convinced Kriek to finish school and to leave big boys like Olivetti alone.
What Kriek does is basically morally very questionable. And I think Kriek understands and has made a conscious decision that that's something he needs to stop doing. I hope so.
He had for several months. Olivetti assured us that their client information had been secured, but the question remained whether their own machines could still be penetrated by Kriek's hacking attempts. Olivetti gave us their permission to try once more. So what are you planning to do?
I'll first try the Olivetti machines from the outside. Let's see the Olivetti machines. Okay, the old password one.
You're not supposed to have a password for them.
I am, actually not supposed to have a password for them, but I remember this from a previous encounter. I ran into this password and they never changed it.
What are you trying now?
I'm actually in the shell. I just want to reconnect again as super user. Just waiting for this machine. Oh, here I am.
So are we actually inside Olivetti's machine now at the moment?
Yes, the main email and mail server machines on them. We're in them and as super user. So we have total control over the machine. I can reboot it, I can wipe all the files, I can do whatever I like. But I won't really. So I think Mark Elkins' mail folder is on this machine.
Will you send him a message?
Okay. Can do that. Just put a message there, Koki was here.
What is your emotional reaction when you get to your machine and it says Koki was here?
Oh, I guess I'm unhappy about the event. It's as last time he came into the machine, he came through, like I said, a machine that I had personally at home, and he came in to the network using me personally. I was very, very unhappy about that, and it's almost it's a personal insult, almost. When I backtraced and worked out how he came in this time, it was something that he obviously had set up in the past, and it was hidden quite nicely. And it's been reported and fixed and all the rest of it.
But how do you feel about a kid of 18 playing around in your files?
Not very happy at all by that. But no feelings of physical violence yet.